When you were 17, you cold called Salvador Dali, which is amazing. Were you shocked when he responded?
He was fantastic. He was very, very generous. And Pharrell, my mother saw an article in the newspaper that Dali spent half his time in New York, at least during the winter, at the St. Regis Hotel. So I called him up, and they put me through to him, and he answered the phone, and I told him I was a young artist. I would like to visit him. And he said, sure. And he invited me to go to the Knoedler Gallery. He had a show on at the time, and he had fantastic paintings. I remember when I was trying to photograph him, he's, putting his mustache up and, telling me that, I can't hold this pose forever, kid, And he was playful, generous, and I just remember feeling like, I would love to do this. I would love to be involved with art all the time. And, I can participate. I can do this too. And it was through that type of generosity of just, spending a couple minutes with a stranger, And I think that a lot of young artists, they believe they would like to participate, but not all the time do they really want to. Because if you really want to, you will. You just do it. If you want to be part of the dialogue, part of the fabric, you participate. That's what I always loved about the avant-garde, or the idea of the avant-garde. It was really that, you could change your life, and it was about people interacting together, people like Dali and Bacavia. And I was just wanted to be kind of part of this type of community that, you can change your life, you can affect the lives of others.
Yes, that's the most important thing for everyone to know, because we all have it. You just got to find it. In the 1970s, you moved to New York and you started selling your work. Like, what was that time like?
Well, I finished art school, and so I was 21 when I went to Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, and then I went to the School of the Art Institute in Chicago. And in Chicago, I loved the Chicago Imagist. So I spent my last year there. I loved Jim Nutt's work, and I befriended Ed Paschke, and I was his studio assistant. But I loved this work that was based in outsider art, surrealism. Mm-hmm. And so this was really an area that I learned to trust in myself and go inward. And then eventually I just wanted to connect with my generation. So coming to New York at 21 was really to sit down and just intermix with people of my own generation. You sit down, you have a lot of beers over and over again with people discussing what's important, what you kind of like to do with your life. And eventually things start to gel, and you start to take action, and you kind of start to get into a kind of metaphysical state.
You focused on surrealist work in college, but have you abandoned that influence completely, or no?
The first thing you have to do as an individual in life, whether you're an artist or just an individual, is learn how to trust in yourself. Mm-hmm. And surrealism was a vehicle that helped me learn how to trust in myself. Then automatically you want to go outward. Then you just start to look around you. So I think one of the reasons I've also worked with ready-made objects, they're kind of metaphors for people, because in the end you really don't care about objects. You care about people. And so you learn to trust in yourself, and then you learn to trust in others. And that's really kind of the highest state that art can take you to.
So you're tapping into something. What is your way of doing that? I just recently discovered that some of Einstein's biggest and best papers were written when he was tapping in, and he called this process thought experiments. For him and for Da Vinci, they would put a candle at the foot of their bed and look at the shadow of the candlelight on the ceiling, and they would tap in.
It's like Plato's cave. And,
Plato's another one. Plato's another one. Yeah. Socrates is another one. I'm finding that everybody that I love and respect, they all tap in somehow. And then they're able to do it on call. Like someone says, okay, Jeff, make something. Yeah, you're gonna make something that's great. But in terms of the thing that blows your socks off, you kind of feel like it comes from somewhere else.
I would say generally it's more of a process of things resonating. I mean, I'll get out this, oh, that's interesting. And then I'll start to think about that. And
so it's a trigger for you.
Yeah, it's a trigger. I'll start thinking about then the kind of the acting on it. The exercising of freedom to me is really important, and it's, kind of more absolute consciousness of what the capabilities of your life are, just unrestricted kind of freedom, of clarity of one's own possibilities of gesture. This is really where my art, I'm always seeking it to take me to the kind of the highest level of this type of freedom.
So are you saying that you live in the subconscious, basically? And you're constantly in that space? Because if you do, I think I'm going to fall on the floor right now.
No, but I would say that it's kind of shared. I'm always very, very open to archetypal things that are just presenting themselves as being relevant. And I trust in those things. And one of the things that I try to do is keep everything in play. Always to be accepting of everything and to make no judgments about anything. And no matter what it is, whether it's this glass, whether it's this book or that chair, that everything is perfect for what it is. And that there's no hierarchical type of judgments. And in leaving everything in play, everything's accessible. Everything is there to be used and to be incorporated. But when people start to make judgments, you start to limit your possibilities. You limit the connection that maybe that chair there could make with this glass. And instead of keeping everything open, everything going and in play.
That should be like people's daily affirmation, what you just said.
I made a painting, Ilona's Asshole. It has a nice dialogue with Courbet's Origins of the World. I think that my work was also very, very conscious. I was trying to share that transcendence with the viewer.
There was a much more overarching theme there than just flesh.
I believe very much in the beholder's share. And the beholder's share is that an artwork is completed in the viewer.